So it's been a couple months since I made that video about my experience and overcoming of depression and whatnot. If you haven't seen that video, then this one, well, this one can stand alone, but it's kind of like a follow-up. Because I've been having a sort of minor relapse, if you will, setback in that department. I started to feel myself slipping back into the darkness, and I was led to have another heart-to-heart with whoever watches these types of videos. I haven't really lost any of my healthy routines and working out and all that. Like, I haven't personally, with my actions, slipped up, so to speak. It's more of a realization of, oh, it's not over and it'll never be over. Still working out, still keeping the healthy routine, very consistent, actually. And I've been writing and producing more music than I ever have in my entire life in this short period of time, the past couple months. I can get in that headspace a lot easier now than before, and when it happens, it just flows so beautifully, and it's one of my favorite things to do in life. So I've made a lot of progress since I made that video. That video, the first video about my depression, was me like just kind of coming out of it, and I hadn't posted to this channel in months and months, and then on top of that, I've been coming back into the live stream world with the music stuff. That's a whole nother story, but the motivation is there to keep doing things, right? I'm the most confident and secure in myself as I've ever been in the past, I think, literally ever. I still struggle a lot with the things that I've always struggled with, like anxiety, social anxiety, hermetism, reclusiveness, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, like on paper, everything is pretty, I wouldn't say it's awesome and the best it could be, but since like a year ago, I am in a completely different, healthier state of mind overall. A couple months ago when I felt led to make that video, I was excited at the time, especially because I was stuck in such a deep depression that I felt like I couldn't get out of it unless somebody intervened or like something like wild changed in my life. And that's basically what that whole video is about, is just me realizing that sometimes that doesn't happen, and you have to find the change from within. Doesn't mean you can't have help. Of course, have help from the outside if you can, but the point of that was, if you're looking for something external beyond yourself to help you feel better, usually it has to come from within. That's what I found out, for me at least, in that video. So I was super excited at the time, but it's all relative, because back then I was just coming out of this super dark state, and now I'm not in that super dark state anymore, and it kind of like plateaus. It's almost like a tolerance thing. Yeah, it's just that old saying of you can never get enough. But I'm not saying that I'll never be satisfied. I don't think anyone's ever truly satisfied for just after one point in their life, and then they're satisfied for the rest of their life. You have to keep working and doing things and fulfilling yourself, right? And I think there's a huge piece of the puzzle that's still missing. So I found the connection to myself, my body, my mind, and then, organized into the spirit or the soul. If you don't believe in that, that's fine. But, whatever it is, that's the sum of all, or the foundation of your existence. I don't know. I like to call it the soul or the spirit, just the conscious energy that makes you alive and you, aside from your thoughts and your body, obviously. So I found that connection to myself, or at least I got better at recognizing it, and I got better at developing it. There's always work to be done on yourself, always, I think. But there's the other level, the other side, which is connection with others, which is extremely fundamental to the human condition. You need connection with others, or you will lose your mind. And yeah, I struggle a lot to reach out and be social with people that I don't know, and to meet new people. That's a huge problem, but it goes beyond that. It's what I'm more concerned with is on a systemic level. The society that we live in is hindering connection to others more and more, even though there's more ways than ever to connect with people through the internet and all that. But still, it feels like everyone's more disconnected. I know this isn't a revolutionary idea. Obviously, people have been talking about this for the past decade or so regarding technology and and people becoming the loneliness epidemic, all of that. That's what I'm primarily here to talk about, because I just had a mental situation recently, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. But I'm sure when I say systemic problem with society making it hard for people to connect with others and to feel connected with others, I think the majority of you watching this will probably, you know what I'm talking about. So the thing that spurred me to make this video here is something that used to happen to me a lot when I was in the darkest of the depression state, like a year ago, 2 years ago, up until the past couple months, which is waking up in the middle of the night or early morning before you get out of bed, before you have to get out of bed, and just the most evil, horrible thoughts come to your mind. And I don't mean evil like I feel like I want to do evil things, but like evil is attacking me, just like the worst case scenario of everything that could possibly happen in your life, or that especially things that are ongoing, just anxiety, depression, thoughts like that, just the worst kind of thoughts. And the latest demo that I put out on this channel, called In the Night, is centered around the lyric. So if you haven't heard it, it's part of the chorus, or it's not, I don't know. It repeats twice, but there's the line is, in the night when demons come to mind. That's what I called it to myself for a while, because like nearly, especially in the past year, before I kind of pulled myself out of that dark hole, almost every night I would wake up at like 5 in the morning, and I would try to go back to sleep, and if I couldn't, just the worst mental experience. And you either have to try to go back to sleep, which is very hard in that state of mind, or you have to just get up and whatever. So I called it, in my head, I was like, demons, like the demons are here, like they're yelling at me and they're screaming at me. And I just had that lyric in my head for a long time, when demons come to mind, in the night, whatever. So that song is kind of structured around that experience. Anyway, but I'm not here to talk about the song. But I had that literally just happened to me this last night, or early this morning, I guess I should say. And I was like, oh, I thought I was over this. And that's what kind of caused me to come do this. And I'll get to more about the meat of what I want to say here. But I mean, this is just a video about the human condition and what I've been experiencing. And I know some people will relate. A lot of the times I think in those moments, the demons are really yourself, your soul kind of nudging you, something deeper within you that's trying to tell you, to make you uncomfortable. Like a lot of times you're trying to escape, you're trying to seek comfort from the discomforts of life and everything, but you need discomfort to grow, right? So I think a lot of the time sometimes it's just downright evil. It feels like to me, I don't know, maybe I'm being, maybe a demon has attached itself to me. I don't really believe in that particularly, but that experience this morning led me to have these thoughts and to do this, to make this video. And I think a lot of the times it's your soul crying out to be like, you need to do something. Things are not changing. Things are not right. Because I got into this state where it's like, I felt good. I felt like I made a lot of progress, and then the progress is just kind of, I'm keeping it up, but I'm not going as far as I want to go yet. And maybe that's just me being impatient, but I don't know. I feel like there's something deeper going on. And I think it's the connection to other people, really. And again, what this video is mainly, what I'm trying to say in this video mainly is that is the biggest problem in our society. And I am having a hard time, since I've moved past connecting with myself, I'm having a hard time now feeling connected to others. It's like two big pieces of the puzzle for mental health, to me at least. Connecting to yourself, connecting to others. Then once those two things are taken care of, everything else kind of flows. I think, maybe not. There's always problems. By flows, I mean you're not like constantly getting tripped up and in super dark places. So when you get those moments, most of the time, I would escape it. And I think most people do. Whenever they feel discomfort from external factors or from within themselves, they try to get away, escape, watch a movie, do drugs, drink, whatever it may be, that's going to distract you from whatever might be calling from within you. Now again, I'm not saying every time you feel bad, it's a sign that you need to lean into it necessarily, but you got to listen to your instincts, your gut, your intuition, whatever you want to call it. And it's so amazingly easy to just plug into the matrix, and everything, all the tumultuous things in your spirit and in your mind melt away. You put on the video, you chase after things outside of yourself that are either pleasurable or escapism in some way. And society has made it so easy for us to do that with the phone and the internet, you know, everything. It's just so easy to just be like, I'm out for a little bit. You're not often in a state where you are forced by external circumstances to sit with your thoughts and process them. Back to the human connection thing. I'm going to be jumping around a lot in this. I'm just kind of bringing up things in my mind as I go. Last night I was at band practice where I play lead guitar. And there's four other lead singer, 3 other band members, another guitarist who does mostly rhythm but also lead sometimes, and bassist, drummer. And I always enjoy myself at the practice because it's a chance to play music with people in the same room and just feel that experience. And I had this moment, which I have pretty much every time, which is in the moments of flow state, you kind of break the flow state and you realize, for instance, me specifically, I'm playing a lick, a riff, whatever you want to call it, a solo, and everything just sounds so good and it feels so good. And then in my mind, I'm like, I need to get better at this. I need to practice more. I need to, not that I was rusty, but I know I could get better if I did it more than just when I go to band practice, right? Because I'm synergizing with other people playing music, and they're hearing me and I'm hearing them, and it's this back and forth. But I'm always like, I need to practice. I need to go back. I need to do this more. Like I'm in love with playing the guitar in that moment. And every time I get home and return to my isolation chamber, it just disappears from my motivation. In the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I guess I could drag my amp into the room, or I could plug it into Direct In and use a plug-in and just play for myself. But it's just the lack of connection with people in the room is it's such a hindrance. Sorry, I had to move my camera because it was a little bit in the sun and started to overheat, Florida. So anyway, the connection inspires things when I'm with other people and I'm doing things with other people, and then once I get alone, it all floats away and I just want to escape. But I know I love playing guitar. I know when I can tap into it, it's great, but I can't always connect with that part of myself because I'm not always connected with other people. Not that I want to live in the presence of, I love my alone time, I need it, I'm super introverted, I need to recharge by thinking through things and being alone, but when you're alone for too long, then it's not great. But this concept reminds me of my other demo that I released before In the Night, which is called Sunken Treasure. Now, in the description of that, I put a lengthy artist note about the song, about what it meant to me, and what I'm talking about with the guitar thing and the inspiration from other people, the love for guitar, the love for anything. The idea of the sunken treasure is that it's a part of you that you know is real, but it's very spiritual or emotional, however you want to describe it, that your ego can easily distract you from it, and you have to kind of dive into a specific zone to feel it again. And in the artist notes, I wrote a bunch of examples of things it could be. What I wrote it about was essentially the creative process, because of all the years that I wasn't writing music, that I just kind of let it go by the wayside as I was escaping from life in general. But I always knew I loved music, and I always knew I loved to play and create music. But it's down at the bottom of the ocean. Sometimes you gotta go get it. And yeah, the drive to write music, this guitar thing, this love for playing guitar with people, anything like that. It can apply to so many things. Something you know deep down to be true, but can easily and often be doubted in your active thoughts. The very impetus to make this video is a sunken treasure, because while I was lying in bed fighting the demons off, I felt this absolute necessity to get these thoughts out of my head, the thoughts that I'm presenting to you now. Then once I finally kind of drifted back to sleep, then got back up again. I never really fully went back to sleep, but I laid in bed for 2 more hours and then got up. And I got some coffee and I started watching some YouTube videos, and then next thing you know, I got into the regular headspace that I'm in when I'm doing the morning things. And I'm never a morning person anyway, so that creates that, it allows for that doubt to creep in. So then I'm thinking, am I really gonna make this video? No one's gonna care, no one's gonna watch it, which I know isn't true. I know some people will watch it. It might not even get as many views as the first video that I was talking about depression a couple months ago got. And that doesn't matter, that's not the point. But these are the kinds of thoughts that creeped into my head, and then this is cringy. I'm not a talk to the camera kind of person, talk about feelings all the time. It's not what I do. Why would I do that? Like all these ego thoughts. When I use ego in this context, I'm talking about like the Freudian, your identity of self that tries to make sense of the world, not necessarily the like egotistical, like I'm the best, bow down to me type of thing. I just mean in general that your active mind that can easily trick you from what you know to be true, can let the sunken treasures stay buried down deep. As I've gone through this process more and more of like a sort of awakening, I guess you could call it, or just overcoming, getting past a depressive state, it feels like kind of an awakening to me, but I know some people aren't super spiritual like that. So I've gotten better at fighting those thoughts off. And I told my ego thoughts, fuck off. I know what I felt when I was lying in bed fighting the demons off. I know I need to make this video for whatever reason, for myself, for whoever's listening. It needed to happen. My soul was telling me to do it, and so I told my ego to fuck off, and here I am doing it. I think it's very important to train yourself to do that, to get better at that sort of thing. If you're like me, I don't know, maybe I'm having a more unique experience than most people, I don't know, or I'm just struggling, I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is, this is my reality, and hopefully someone can relate, or this can help somebody with their reality. So yeah, it's very easy to let the demons come in, take over, and then instead of fighting them back and doing something about it, you just escape them. You retreat. You don't fight back, you retreat, and you like, oh, I'll fight them another day, maybe. But if you keep doing that, that's what I did for many years. I just escaped, didn't bother trying to make progress. That's no good. When those thoughts come up, you gotta shut them down. You gotta remember that you're not your thoughts. Anyway, back to the main concept that I'm trying to speak about here, which is the connection to others, and how our modern Western society, I don't know how it is in the Eastern world. I mean, when I think of Eastern society, I think of like Buddhists and monks and stuff like, not that everyone's like that, but I feel like they're more connected to each other and to their selves than we are here in like United States and whatever. But I was reminded of a video that I was served by YouTube shortly after I posted my video about depression. And it was this guy, if I find it, I'll point you to it, but you can find these types of videos all over YouTube for sure. But this one had 20,000 or something views, maybe 100,000 views. Like, it got a lot of views, and it was just like this guy crying out for help in his car. And it resonated with a lot of people. He was basically like talking about how his situation was really shitty, and he didn't have anyone to talk to about it. And he was like, so I'm just here in my car just so I can be heard on YouTube. He's like, I'm posting this video so I can be heard, something like that. And he was just crying his eyes out half the time. And it was so sad, but it was also so revealing about society in general, that there's people that feel so alone and disconnected because of the stuff that they have to deal with to survive, who are much less fortunate than I am, or a lot of you maybe, that they are led to, I don't know what else to do to feel connected, so I'm just gonna start filming myself and crying and hoping people just give me validation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm kind of doing a version of that here, but I'm not really trying to be heard, so to speak, more of like, I just hope a message gets to someone that can help them, or whatever. Get it out of myself. So yeah, in a way, this is that kind of thing. I'm just not as particularly emotional about it at this moment. Doesn't mean I don't get that way. And I think that's like the biggest problem with our society right now. People are just so disconnected, and it just keeps getting worse. And there's plenty of people talking about it, but not enough, and not enough people doing anything about it. I don't know what I can do except this, I guess. I'm not great at, meeting new people and networking. That's something I need to work on and get better at myself. But yeah, and then I think about like the people who are, like Joe Rogan says a lot of the time, he'll say, we're living in the best times. It's the most interesting times, the most revolutionary. And he's right in a lot of ways. But he says that because he hears a lot of people complaining like this country sucks and whatever. And I don't disagree with either side of that. I do think this is one of the best times to be alive. One of the most interesting. AI technological revolution is insane. So yeah, he is right, but it's for most of the people, it is the worst time because it's easy for someone like Joe Rogan, who has a wildly successful career, doesn't really have to work anymore, can take care of his whole family and his friends, do whatever he wants. And it's pretty easy to recognize that and sit in it and enjoy it when you have that luxury. It's just everyone, the majority of people, the average person is just so fucking busy and caught up in their own life and what they're trying to do and their survival. And understandably, I am too. But that's the problem with our society. Most people are struggling so that the majority of their free time is just escaping. And they're not making any progress with themselves. They're not connecting to people. They're just depressed and sad and dissociated and just going through their life completely disconnected. But they do it anyway because, there's some things to live for. But it's a bleak existence. And it's because of the technology. Information technology, social media especially, has driven everyone so far into escaping or trying to make something of themselves, like myself, which both things are good in moderation, and success and workaholism or escaping, whatever you want to call it. But real human connection is left as like a premium luxury that only the wealthy and the people who are good, so to speak, can experience. That's what it seems like. It's what it feels like, especially when I see people making YouTube videos in their car crying, saying they just want to be heard. Like, that's fucked. And again, I respect that guy for doing that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done that. I'm glad he did that because it helped show me. And then if you go on Reddit, oh my God, you go on Reddit and read people's stories about how fucked up their lives are. It is a mess. Any social anxiety, depression, subreddit, Jesus Christ. It's so sad, but that's their, it's good that they have Reddit and anonymous forums to talk to people, about, communicate it, but it's the cheapest form of communication and connection you could possibly have. And again, it's better than nothing, but at the same time, its very existence is what drives people to just sit alone in their room because I can talk to someone on Discord and we can have a video chat and some people are very fulfilled with connecting remotely, and that's fine. But I think on a deeper human level, everyone really wants to be with other people in the flesh, having real life experiences. That's what seems to be the most fulfilling. It's definitely the most fulfilling for me. I had to move the camera again. Where was I? Oh, right, the difference between connecting remotely and in person. I'm just worried because it seems like the more time passes, the more, especially as the younger generations get into technology, social media and smartphones, it seems like everyone is starting to communicate purely through social media. Half the people I know are always just DMing through Instagram. Instagram just such a normal part of the day that it's like, oh, well, and that's exactly what the companies want. They want you to stay on there. And I'm genuinely warning anyone who's doing that because it's a sinister, low-key type of thing that it seems good, it seems convenient, it doesn't seem like it's doing you any harm, but over time, I think it's eroding the sense of connection. Like if you're constantly the way you instead of texting people, you're using Instagram DM of course, obviously it's highly useful. I'm not saying this is an evil technology that should not be used and should be boycotted. Sometimes it feels like that, but when I think about people who are always on Instagram and always communicating through Instagram, which again is exactly what they want, because in order to get to the DMs, there might be ways to just directly go to the DMs and get out, but I don't think anyone's really doing that except for me, maybe. If I have a DM notification, I click it and then it goes right to the DM, and then I can just close out of the app. But if you're going through the homepage, you're getting fed algorithms and information, and it's clouding your mind. If you were trying to focus on something before, see it, now you have 100 different pieces of content and messages running through your head, going in one ear, out the other. You're being fed advertisements. It's this system that's designed to keep you there, make money off of you, and the people who own it are benefiting the most. And again, I think it's a valuable tool to stay in touch with people. For me, the most value is reaching people. If you have art to share and you want exposure for some kind of business or personal endeavor. But it genuinely worries me, the people who are just chilling on Instagram as a social replacement. And I feel like a lot of people are doing that, especially the younger generations. Do whatever you want, but maybe I sound like the old boomer, but get outside and get some sun and talk to people in real life. Anyway, I don't mean to preach, but it feels like a tainted ground of communication for me. It's just, there's too much. I just want a direct line to the person I'm trying to talk to. No distractions. I end up ranting about Instagram in the last video about like this and this video, of course. But ultimately, I love technology. I'm kind of like a futurist. I believe that eventually we'll become, I don't know if we'll ever be a utopia, but it'll get better. I think this eroding of human communication through social media and all this escapism through the access that's in your pocket and everywhere you go, basically, we're in a period of like growing pains. Growing pains, I think both are right, where it's like, all the negative stuff is happening because of greed. Like I was saying before, they want you on their platform to serve ads to you, to stay on there as long as possible so you can see as many ads and get sold they can make as much money off of you. That's the only goal of social media, literally. At first, maybe it was a novelty of like, this will connect people, but now it's just corporate greed. And I'm not about to be anti-capitalist right here. Capitalism is the best thing we know that works as a large-scale economy. But that's just the greed, the problem. The problem is the greed, and we have negative consequences to face, which is why I think it's important to be cognizant of these things and make a genuine personal effort or group effort to not lean too extremely into these tools to let them take over your social life. I think technology is supposed to help us connect and communicate. And I think eventually where it seems like it might be going is some kind of hive mind, computer interface telepathy situation. But I don't know. That seems even scarier to me, but that's a whole nother conversation. As long as we're in these human bodies at this stage of evolution, we're always going to need some kind of real in-person connection with other humans and with nature. I truly 100% believe that. I know it's true. I don't even need to say I believe it. It's a fact. But all this stuff, it makes it very easy to just say, well, my personal growth, my dreams are dead. I'm too old. I'm running out of time. I have too much debt. I don't have enough money. Whatever it might be in your life that allows it to be easier for you to collapse at the end of the day and be like, I just want to not care. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like that. You're gonna feel like that, but the idea is to fight it. Make an effort. The dream is not dead. It's never dead. You're never too old. You're never too whatever. Name the negative thing. There's always hope to get the things that you want, to do the things that you want, to achieve the dream. There is always hope. And you might be in a place where it's been years and years and there's no progress, and no matter what you do, you can't seem to figure it out, and then you're like, I guess I'm just not meant for it. You still can't give up because you never know what's right around the corner if you keep trying. Maybe you're not trying hard enough. Maybe you're not aligned in the right way. Maybe something in your body and your spirit is telling you time to make a shift. If you feel like you've been stagnating for an amount of time that feels wrong, then maybe you've already given up internally, and you have to shift your perspective. Sometimes it takes a radical thing to shift someone's perspective, especially when you're deep into a habitual escapism lifestyle. I've been there with some pretty serious addictions, so I get it. But you might need to look deeper inside to realize what you might have given up on, even if it was subconscious, if that makes sense. The ego is really good at hiding and burying this energy, back to the sunken treasure metaphor. There's a lot of sunken treasures down in your soul, but your ego is like the surface of the water. That's the metaphor hasn't. I haven't expanded the metaphor that far, but you know, you can figure it out. Think of an expansion yourself. But yeah, I believe everyone should be striving towards human connection as best they can, because that's what's causing so much strife in the country and the world. And I struggle with it all the time. So you're not alone, you're loved. Even if I don't know you, somebody loves you. Accept it, allow it. Know that you're worthy of the dreams that you desire. It might be super difficult to accept that at times, or right now, but it's for you to grow. The harder it is, the more glorious the victory on the other side. As long as you fight with your mind and your body and your spirit, as long as you don't give up, there's always something better on the other side. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thank you very much for listening. Hit the like button, I guess, if this resonated. Leave a comment. Peace and love.